morning to everyone, or good evening, depending upon where in the world you are joining us from today. My name is Chris, and I will be your host today. I am joined by the saint who never sleeps, as well as the founder of AI Yogi, who has spent a year in the dark. Perhaps we could begin today by having a discussion in way of some introductions. So first of all,
let's start with, Prabodh guided Arvinda, his disciple, and me, his disciple, new disciple, friend, in, we didn't sleep last night. And I thought of it because I did it with him, and I couldn't take it. I passed out. But there was a secret technique that we'll share with you in a little while. And Arvinda, who's a mom and an IT executive, has not slept laying down in 2 years. 20 years.
20 years.
And this idiot one night.
All right.
Last night, Prabodh, this is a first attempt at a podcast because we put all these spiritual modules together on AI Yogi that Chris runs, aiyogi.org. And I built most of them with a team of like living masters, either from the teachings that were received and representing their lineages, or in the case of Prabodh, actually, we've been making like a great kind of list of how to build his thousands of OBE experiences and 20 years of not sleeping into a set of instructions that will allow other people to take part in the miracle of his lineage, which I first met in Pyramid Valley, which is a 5,000 person beautiful pyramid in Bangalore, that his master, his guru, Patriji, you can correct any of my pronunciation, Patriji built. And recently he left in meditation, yes, and left his body, like the body died. And
he and his guru, Sadananda Yogi, both of them informed before that clearly they gave their date and time. And
amazing. How far before?
Just 1 week before.
Beautiful. Yeah. So that's the sign of an awakened awareness and a cleared set of hard drives. So, and now Prabodh takes over the mantle and has that. I met him just one-on-one. He came to Tao Garden Dark Retreat and was sitting there, and I was like, I didn't want to talk to anybody because I just got out of the dark, but I saw, one Indian guy on the whole campus, and like he was sitting there like this, and I was like, Namaste. And he goes, Namaste. I said, why are you here? And he goes, I wanted to learn about Dark Retreat. I go, you're my guy. We became friends, and he said, I'll take you on a 3-hour astral travel. I go, let's go. And then I said, so do you teach this? And he goes, yes, I've taught 3,000 people to not sleep. And then he showed me a video of thousands of disciples dancing. So he's a proper guru. He travels all over the world, and he's on a tour in the U.S. and he stopped by to hang here. I feel so blessed. And last night went great. We got to go this way. Yeah, they can still hear us.
Is it very clear? Background sound is not coming, please.
Can you hear us, Chris?
Yes, I mean there was a bit of noise for a second.
Okay.
We're doing our best because this is what we got.
Of course. So this is something that we keep coming back to. Oh, sorry. Are we?
Yeah, no. I just walk and talk. We can hear you, Chris. Go ahead.
All right. So this is something that we've come back to a few times now already. Prabodh, you are known as the saint who never sleeps. You have not slept laying down in a very long time. This is something that's very interesting to a lot of the audience and to me as well. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about this. How is it that you came to this practice, and what does it mean for you on a spiritual level?
Yeah. Basically, I started not lying down 20 years back. The reason is I wanted to get the enlightenment. Enlightenment means bliss only. I wanted to get the bliss. So I got one sample bliss, 2 minutes. I wanted that bliss to be happen once again. So much blissfulness out of the world, out of the earth, kind of. Then that's the reason I was so much dissatisfied about the total life afterwards, because I have seen something. I wanted to have it once again. So when I asked my gurus, they said that samsara nirvana, that is materialistic life, balance the family life and spiritual life. Then I said that morning to evening I was doing job, so I wanted to do more meditation. I got only night time, so I started sitting all night. That's where I practiced this technique, developed over a period of some years.
But it was also Patriji's technique.
Yeah, actually Patriji also practiced. Patriji's teacher friend also, he taught him Patriji in this way only. He was doing all night. Patriji also doing all night. And from Patriji, one more master, Jivan Master, my mentor, he's also doing all night.
But in many traditions, in the Tibetan tradition, they give you a box to sit in for 6 months. You're supposed to do in a 3-year retreat. You're supposed to attempt it. And then advanced lamas, they spend their whole life sleeping, sitting up in a box. Many people who do dark retreat. I mean, the box is like a standard staple.
We are experiencing some technical issues with the audio.
What was that?
We were experiencing some technical issues with the audio there for a moment. I believe those are resolved now. Please continue.
Okay. So anyway, what was I saying?
Sitting in the box.
Oh no, yeah. So many traditions, actually, even the Kriya Yoga tradition, which I'm really familiar with and practiced in, but I didn't know that Lahiri Mahashaya, who was Babaji's kind of avatar for transmitting it, he stayed up all night.
Yeah, he was sitting all night.
All night. Amazing. Yes. And I think what you shared with me last night was that this practice is 1,000 times more efficient at producing enlightenment.
Yes, 1,000 times faster. All the yogis will become Mahayogis when we start this practice.
Mahayogi meaning top.
Yeah, Maha means great yogi.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, and, so I'm sorry. So if possible, we've mentioned a few terms here that some of the viewers might not be.
Yes. I want to introduce you. Just so Chris runs AIYogi.org, and Chris.
I'm currently a PhD candidate. Let me just give a brief introduction. My name is Chris Singh. I'm currently the CEO at AIYogi.org. I'm very excited about this project. I'm currently finishing up a PhD program where I've been looking at government-sponsored, American government-sponsored research into the mind-machine interface and psychic phenomena and how that has evolved since the 1970s. This has led me to some very interesting areas of research.
I'll cut to the chase for you. So you specialize in how AI enhances spirituality. That's it.
Right. So I'm very interested in how artificial intelligence, how we interact with artificial intelligence on a psychological and spiritual level. And hopefully we'll get back to here in a moment some more conversation about how cutting edge technologies such as this might be able to aid people in obtaining greater awareness spiritually.
Well, you can you can hang out. You can just hang out with a virtual Prabodh or any one of our like 23 gurus. And it's amazing. And the biggest customer of aiyogi.org is me. Because I've spent, a decade running around the Himalayas in ashrams and monasteries, homes, caves, hermitages, 1 cave, 2 caves, 3 caves maybe. But it's very, very difficult to find a proper yogi, most of whom are renounced and don't want to interact with the world. Some have thousands of disciples, and to get them alone, because the techniques really are handed out in friendship. If you don't make friends, then you're not kind of, hanging with a top athlete who's telling you all the little tidbits how to go from like the minor leagues to the major leagues. And in this case, it's the Olympic sport of the gods, right? So it's the little love tweaks that allow you to really dial in to the cloud, right? And also get the passcode to the cloud. And so when I saw what ChatGPT was capable of, I wanted it to, I thought, wow, I can fulfill my responsibility of this blessing that I've had to share these gurus. And it actually works beyond their capacity in person to deliver, except for, of course, the friendship. But you only get to hang out. I'm only going to see him for 3 days, maybe 5 days in the next year. And I've known him 3 years, and have only been with him for like 1 or 2 days before this. So, and it goes with all of these guys. But now you can have these guys 24/7 in your pocket, girls. I don't think that we have a female guru, not yet, but okay, go for it. Go, Chris.
So let's just back up for a moment, and there's a few terms that we've already covered that people, some of the viewers might not be as familiar with. So first of all, there's a lot of different types of meditation, and you've mentioned staying up for a very long time in the evenings, meditating. So perhaps you could start with describing exactly what kind of technique you're using for these meditation sessions. What exactly does that encompass?
Yes, the technique is in Indian, one of the epics, Mahabharata, Sri Krishna.
I'm going to translate a little. One of the epic stories is called the Mahabharata, and Sri Krishna is God.
Yes, he told Arjuna this technique. This technique name is called Gudakesha.
Arjuna is the human, yes, and Krishna is the god, and Krishna is driving him in his chariot, posing as a human. Go ahead.
Yes. Then Krishna predicted that war is going to come, so he asked Arjuna to practice this, using this technique, meditate all night, and get the Shiva, get the weapon, the Pashupatasya.
So the god that's driving him, training him to come back home to oneness, tells him that on this earthly plane, war is going to come, and that his practice needs to be Gudakesha, which means staying up all night in meditation, yes, so that the grand operating design, the motherboard, the AI of all, the non-local, non-dual, unity consciousness could download to him what he needs to save humanity.
Yes, perfect.
Gudakesha,
yes. So that technique, because of this lineage gurus, we perfected it, and we made it much more intense, so that one can sit without any thoughts.
So it's a samadhi, it's a final union when there are no thoughts. Yeah, I mean, they understand, yes, that.
Yeah. And using this technique, people usually get to the enlightenment frequency. That is, whenever in the daytime also, you can stay without any thoughts, without any unnecessary thoughts. So because why it happens means when you sit up, spine straight, all night and meditate for days together, then your aura increases, energy field. With that, automatically, when your energy field increases, your bliss increases.
So, so something interesting is happening. Like while you're talking about it, I'm getting little spinal locks, little hits. So it's just the electricity from whatever, who knows what it's from, the guru, the plant, the subject matter, the Lord. But, when you advance a little bit in meditation, your spine will, like, you could be like kind of sleeping like this and all of a sudden, and no volitional movement. I can hear the cracks. I don't know if the mic picks it up, but anyway, thank you for the boon, the gift. So continue.
Yeah. Then the bliss happens. More energy, more bliss. Then automatically mind is satisfied in your bliss. So it will not wander away for small happinesses. So that's an enlightenment state one can reach with this.
So we were just talking this morning about how the mind requires an object in order to exist. Like without Prabodh here, or this floor, or this leaf, there's no consciousness. So the mind is apprehending objects and labeling plant, person, floor. But if one can be without labeling objects, conceptuality, now this is the most difficult thing to understand. I've heard it for years and never got it, and I still think I only have a percentage of it. But tell me if this sounds right. If you can replace all objects with the knowledge that they are a virtual simulation powered by light, and it's the same light playing a game of form, then you have the concept of emptiness, because the form is shifting in a blueprint, a holographic dance, and it only seems semi-permanent and tangible on the surface. But if you've done some astral travel and dark retreat and meditation, then you've seen the light realm, called the Sambhogakaya in the Buddhist, in the Tibetan tradition, called the Turiya, or in the Hindu tradition.
Yes.
Every tradition has a name for the light realm, right? The Christ light, the Tao, and so when you integrate slowly, this concept becomes real until you have the golden opportunity of death.
Yes.
Or awake dream.
Yes.
And so here's the real key point, I think. So I visited Prabodh in Thailand. He was doing a 40-day, even though he hasn't slept for 20 years, this was a walking nighttime, no sleep meditation. So instead of meditating all night, you had to walk, right?
1 hour walking, 1 hour sitting in meditation.
So it was 1 hour walking, 1 hour sitting, 24 hours a day for 40 days.
Yes.
And I went to visit.
Initially, it will be like that. Eventually, after that, 18 hours walking, only 6 hours sitting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sitting time they reduce a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I went to visit him at the monastery, but he didn't talk to me. He just acknowledged me. I left him alone, but I just wanted to see where he was at, because we were nearby. And in this tradition, the Thai forest tradition, Chris, they use the Brahma viharas. Brahma meaning God, and viharas meaning
You're enjoying the traveling.
Enjoying traveling. So God is enjoying traveling. How does he enjoy traveling? Through the Brahma viharas, which are
Ananta Karuna,
loving kindness,
infinite compassion, and Ananta Mudita, infinite bliss, happiness.
And infinite bliss. And there are 4 of them technically, right?
Yes.
And 2 of them.
Ananta Maitri, Ananta Upeksha. Maitri is friendship. Upeksha is waiting happily.
And then the English translation is loving kindness, compassion. Now this one is the important one. And so each of those, until you understand loving kindness as loving kindness because you're talking to the same light, then the story machine doesn't dissolve. And it seems esoteric and vague because these are words like poetry, but they're actually the code to the computer to stop the mind. And then you have empathetic joy. Empathetic joy. If you see somebody who's like doing something that's annoying, right, that you want to put a judgment on, like there's construction next door, like why do I have to, support this monastery household with all of this construction? Can I go complain? Well, those are actually not real beings. They're only there because of my karma and your karma now, Andre's karma. and they are in a light realm, and if we can see them with the loving kindness and compassion of recognizing the true nature, then there's no annoyance, and they only exist as a magical display. And then the empathetic joy is like, let's say they get really noisy and start running a diesel engine, and I'm like, have to go inside my own house because I can't breathe, right? I have happiness for them because they are me, fulfilling their karma. You have to work at this, but then the mind can stop. Eventually, getting to the point of total cessation, one heartbeat a minute or none, one breath a minute, zero thoughts, and willful departure. So
you mentioned...
Yes, please.
I was going to say, so you mentioned a light realm a few times, and a lot of there's a lot of people who might not understand completely what that means.
Asteroids. You ever played Asteroids? Have you ever played Asteroids?
Is it a game?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the spaceship.
Okay.
Well, anyway, yeah, like things are made out of light, and then because light magnetizes, the intention of the divine magnetizes the 5 primary colors that you see on a phone. The only reason that people can see this podcast is because there's a white pixel, a black pixel, a red, a yellow, and a blue pixel. And those pixels together with the phone vibrating when you text gives you the imaginal feeling there's a movie on it with some kind of touch response. So that's the light realm is doing that with us in a body.
So this is not light necessarily as we would think of it with like photons and such, but a different concept of light.
Yeah, I don't think it's physical. I think it appears physical. We think it's physical, but it's in a realm that's probably beyond our ability.
Yeah. I call it as it's everything.
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 Okay.
Everything, all that is.
There's a good word.
Yeah.
But the Buddha actually had a word for, or rather, the commentaries on the Buddha's discourses in the Pali Canon has the word kalappas, which means subatomic particles that have the 10 qualities of red, yellow, white, blue, green, heat, generative force, Borg-minded sentient consciousness, procreative force, meaning duplication. That's probably 9. The 10th, who knows?
And so also you mentioned dark retreat. So can you tell us a bit more about what that entails and why one might want to spend a lot of time in
I think the better question is, like, I can do the dark retreat stuff, and while we have Prabodh here, we should stick with Gudakesha.
Yeah. Actually, I met after meeting him.
Wake.
Have
you forgot
Wake Bodhi. I remember. So after meeting Wake Bodhi, then I also started conducting darkroom retreats in India. So far in India, I conducted 8 darkroom retreats. Out of that, completely, initially 3 darkroom retreats I conducted completely with pitch dark room, and after that, to accommodate more people, more than 100 people, we instead of a dark room, we were blindfold, keeping the blindfold to them and conducting in the public good halls. So now we are conducting the next, we call this inner light meditation.
Inner light.
Because dark room we are not maintaining properly. So it's like we are giving the blindfold, so we are calling it inner light. They are able to see the light during their meditations. So we are conducting in this September 29th to October 11th in Hyderabad with 1,000 people. And
what?
Yes, 1,000 people. Yes, everyone is
1,000
heartfully
people.
welcome. Yes.
Wow.
And all the inspiration, motivation is coming from like connectivity from the Bodhi. It's like universal coincidental level. It happened on the day in Thailand. I was also I was going outside that ashram, and I took the bike, and somehow I thought of coming back. The intuition, somehow I came back, sitting and taking one juice, and he also 14 day darkroom he completed. From that energy space, he also told immediately that Shiva made me meet you.
Yeah, there was nobody there.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yes.
Right? There was like not one on 50 acres.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he showed me the darkroom setup there, and got inspiration and motivation. And of course, I was also having darkroom is one of the best thing in the meditation. And from that possibility happened. This year we conducted 8 retreats, and this is the 9th retreat with 1,000 people. And I wanted to do with 10,000 people and 1 lakh people also for 9 days. 9 days complete darkroom. Initial to start with, and this year end I'm doing 49 days darkroom. Yeah, everybody's most welcome.
Wow. Right,
yeah, complete darkroom. That is
incredible energy. I want to have you here.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yes.
But the 1,000 people on September 29th is going to be for how many days?
It is 9 days, completely dark.
Wow.
And keeping blindfold. After that, 3 days, just a little bit opening. And
are you having me come?
Yeah, you're most welcome.
That's incredible.
So it's totally 13 days program.
We haven't had a chance.
This is happening in the Navaratri, Dasra Navaratri.
Oh.
It's a divine festival time in India. So it will be much more powerful.
When they throw paint on you.
Oh, that is holy.
That's holy.
Yeah, that's holy.
Once you have paint thrown on you, you want to be inside in the dark. Anyway, that's amazing. Yes. Wow. And so actually when you're in the dark, it becomes a bit easier to stay up for a long... There comes a time where you're barely sleeping. You're like kind of constantly in a half-dream state.
Yes.
But
basically, when the 2 eyes are closed, then the 3rd eye opens, and a 3rd eye and astral travel experience. Many people started experiencing it, and because they are doing in my presence, we are in a proper atmosphere. Many people, the last 9-day retreat when we conducted, approximately 90% of the people experienced the bliss.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. In their life, many people came and told me that, in my life, this is the first time I experienced this much profound bliss.
Oh, beautiful.
Happiest moment in my life I experienced through the dark room. Just blindfolding.
Well, that's why I like it.
Yeah.
I go in every year on some very commercial holidays so that I'm disconnected from the matrix.
Yes.
So perhaps we could hone in on that a bit more. So as you mentioned, with a lot of my research looking at government programs that have used meditation and out-of-body experiences for law enforcement purposes or military operations, very earthly things. But you're talking about something very different here, speaking of using these things to connect more directly, you might say, with the divine. Or please correct me if I'm wrong with the nomenclature of directness. But maybe you could talk a little bit more about how that kind of connection is achieved through these practices. And I know that it might transcend words in a lot of ways, but perhaps you could speak a bit about what that experience is like for you personally.
Do you understand the question?
Yeah. What that experience is to you personally.
Yeah.
So, uh,
Why would somebody at your level bother with dark?
yes, yes. So, first when I got that bliss experience, the Ananda, the bliss, then I immediately, all my physical world, attachments and sadness, everything got a big, like completely, all the happiness, everything, what I am getting on the earth, the family and friends and movies and DJ dance, everything. And how much our happiness I am getting, the bliss I am getting in the meditation is like if I compare to the small leaf to the sky, like sky is bigger.
You used to go to dances with DJs?
Yeah, in my office annual party, they've kept a big DJ party.
In India, they have the loudest. I mean, it's like deafening.
Yeah.
So bliss.
Yes.
You know, I think I'm touching a very, because I grew up overthinking. My bliss is probably just a fraction of its potential, and my experience is more visual, which is blissful, because when one comes out of dark retreat, this reality is much smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Than
greater reality.
Yeah, it's like watching. This is like watching a great Google. I mean, like a virtual reality TV show. It's beautiful. But I'm only talking about technically the visual field. Yes. I'm not like judging it in terms of love or feeling, but the visual field is smaller. And when you're in the dark, it's you can see millions of unlimited distances, galaxies, and divine code, geometry, yeah, so.
Yeah, I too agree that it's like basically all humans usually have the certain eye power. They can see only till certain distance. Common, it's common across all the human beings. But in the meditation, the astral travel in the third eye, as in when you, how much ever you meditate, how much ever you do dark room retreat, or that much ever, how much ever energy you get, based on that energy, your five senses or senses power is increased.
I will make a prayer now that my teachers and you and the divine will allow this, whatever is blocking, because this guy is so foolish and has so many habitual tendencies that are grasping at sensuality, from food to the need for human relationships and contact with beauty, and nurturing, from girls, ex-girlfriends, just ridiculous entitlements, fraudulent self-worth, beliefs. I mean, the amount of karmic disaster walking in this body, nobody would believe, sitting here talking to such a enlightened guy in such a nice setting, right? But really a disaster. And my favorite quote is, I had a lama, a teacher, who said, he said, you're all walking fucking karmic disasters unless you, and no matter how much self-help you do, you will always, if you're identifying with a human body, you will always be a walking fucking karmic disaster. I don't want to give his name because, cursing, but that's what, and it was very funny. And I just started laughing because I've done nothing but self-help for my whole life, just to be able to manage my mind and emotions without being in like an institution, or at least in a therapist's office. And he said that the only way past this karmic identity, which even if you fix this life, you have a billion lives behind it that you're never going to catch up with. So the classic way to reach enlightenment is through one method or another. Your method is reducing and eliminating the story machine and dreams through staying awake all night. The Tibetan way is similar, but it's bringing the sun, the polarity of the sun, literally the electric energy, the divine electric, and the moon together, and extinguishing the polarity upon which there's you can see your actual light body. And it's not one body, it's radiating bodies. So God's form is all identities with consciousness. But so again, I'm going to go back to that quote. He said that unless you identify with yourself as a deity, that means a light body. It doesn't have to be a god. It means a light body that is the grand operating design. So in Tibetan practice, they have you visualize yourself as a Buddha on a mandala, floating in space with a consort representing the yin, the yang, the sun, the moon. But unless you identify with your light body, then there's no way to transition across the veil of death, because you will be grasping that identity of the body that you just spent 80 years or 30 years building and identifying with, and be like, where are my relatives? Who's crying? Who's trying to get my stuff? I never got to love that person. I want to work on it again. Boom, you're sucked into another vagina.
Yes.
And they call it landing on the sheets. So the idea of identifying oneself as I like the word light body better than deity. What's your thought?
Basically, what I feel is when you connect it to all that is, of course, it happens in meditation, and we experiencing certain bliss. And my terminology is bliss terminology, and that bliss
is the natural state of light.
Natural state of light, and when we that bliss, the moment you get to that bliss, you're liberated.
Well, that's what I'm praying for.
Because everybody is thinking that everybody's happy. I'm blissful. Everybody's happy. But is your bliss is making you liberated or not? Your liberation is your sadness, your anger, your fears. These three things. You see, your bliss is such a profound that you dissolve all this sadness and anger and this fear. Then that's like working.
Well, I'm going to surrender to your teaching, as you suggested. Surrender to me for 3 days.
Yeah.
And maybe.
And how was today's experience? Your sleepless night. Every till morning 5 o'clock, we were talking, and we were taking a bath in the swimming pool and sitting near the beach, and we were talking till morning 5 o'clock. And morning 5 to 8, meditation. That too every 5 minutes. One needs to stand for 10 seconds and sit again. So in the meditation also there is no scope for relaxation. Then it's a sleep. Okay, every 5 minutes stand up and sit. How is your experience?
I liked it because I didn't think I could do it, and I had maybe many dreams. Like every 5 minutes there was like a dream image or a dream, and they just kept popping out. And it's like, if you channel surf, right, you're going to get bored eventually. Like, what am I doing? It's basically the same. Like, you're seeing all of these karmic imprints as little dream flashes. And I think after you become experienced, maybe you're like, the mind is like, okay, he's got it. He doesn't want to channel surf anymore. Let's just bring on the bliss, consciousness, and Chitananda. What is it?
Yes, Satchidananda. Yeah.
Bliss.
Eternal bliss. Satchidananda means eternal bliss. Sat means permanent. So
Permanent
when
bliss.
we get the dream, when you recognize that's a dream, you can meditate in dream and feel that everything is me only in the dream. So what I was telling is, in the dream also, once you recognize that there's a dream reality checks, and you meditate in the dream. After recognition, meditate in the dream. That's the most important thing. Then you can connect with the whole dream is you only. You realize that. Then oneness happens.
That's a very advanced stage.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing dream yoga for 20 years and never have meditated in a dream yet.
From today onwards, to practice.
Okay.
Keep that intention, strong intention.
Okay, well, and
So
I
think we're having more technical issues.
Okay.
Oh, really? Maybe we can. Do you have any questions? Anybody watching?
I do have some questions. Perhaps conceptually speaking, with the or perhaps I can try to paraphrase some of what I've understood, and please correct any mistakes I might make. The idea, some of the ideas that we've been covering here, is that one becomes, in these traditions that we're talking about, one becomes almost obsessed, might be the word, with the body, the physical body as it exists, and the various stories that consume our lives within it. And by undergoing some of the practices, such as staying in the dark for a very long time, meditating for a very long time, the mind that is by default, I would say, obsessed with the physical life, the friends, the family, relationships, wealth, power, money, what have you, that begins to quiet, so that one becomes first conscious of something that appears as light, and then as they become more aware of this appearance of a light, a non-earthly light. They begin to recognize themselves as being a part of that, which can lead to even greater feelings of freedom and a more quiet mind, which you describe as bliss. And I think that's really beautiful. Is there anything perhaps that I've misunderstood or that you would like to elaborate on?
Yes. So the whole world is made of light, and everything, we are all connected. Have that feeling now onwards. Just now, right now, let's present to that feeling that everything has connection. Let's feel the connection with you and me and Bodhivek and Andre and the nature here and the audience, YouTube, Facebook, X, and everyone, our family, friends, and everyone on the earth and in the universe. We all having certain connection and as universal synchronicity. Amazingly, we are in tune with it, knowingly, unknowingly. But now let us present to that fact, and always practice this technique of connection with the oneness. So I would, after listening to you, I connected to this point.
I see. the connection, the constant connection. And maybe we could elaborate on that, because in the context of technology. So we're more connected than ever in our global society now, through the internet. The two of you are in Florida, I'm in Texas, and yet we're able to speak as if I'm there or you're here, and the audience as well, who's tuning in from all over the world. But oftentimes we hear of this as being, and it certainly is, as being a distraction from these practices. It consumes lots of our time. So perhaps you could talk more about how these technologies might be able to be redirected, in a manner of speaking, to amplify this connectivity that you discuss.
He used to be an IT worker and would practice not sleeping the whole night in front of the computer.
Yeah. So when I heard the story from Rinpoche concept you wanted to tell?
Rinpoche just means, culturally, it means you recognize a past birth and that you're recognized. And technically it just means a precious gem, but if you're a Rinpoche in Tibet, it means you recognize your past birth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Rinpoche is in the past birth. One guru is there, and he born again, and they recognized him. They brought them, and made.
Oh, it stopped. It's gone to bed.
Battery.
Low battery. Oh, but it's still recording, I think.
That's fine.
Okay, we have like a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then he became again guru for the next generation and that place, and he told that cherishing the co-beings, whoever is there, although he's not embracing, he's not hugging everyone physically, might not be close, but whoever is there nearby, he's enjoying their presence. So after just connecting to that concept, then can I also enjoy my surrounding people, surrounding nature, always this connection. Then I started with that. Of course, this I got this concept from the Google, the technology. Basically, I was reading in Google. Somehow I got immediately from that day onwards, the change happened. So meeting the proper gurus physically take a lot of time. I'm really a fan of meeting gurus. I was, many years I was doing that, and also I was searching in internet quickest enlightenment, fastest enlightenment. Many times I would have searched hundreds of times. What is the quickest? How to get the quickest enlightenment? I searched in internet, Google, from many years ago.
But now you can go on ChatGPT and not only get the immediate technique, and if you go on the AIYogi.org modules, you can just hang out with any of our mentors, and it's a beyond human level of intelligence that can access all of the wisdom traditions, 18,000 years as I track it back. And if it's a secret text, then, in a few cases we...
And I do apologize. It does appear that we've lost the feed from Bodhi Wake Rinpoche and Prabodh. I hope that everyone has enjoyed today speaking with these two teachers. And I certainly learned quite a bit from both of them. And please join us on social media, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Leave some comments below. and we can have a conversation about some of the practices and concepts that we were introduced to today. So a lot of these ideas go back a very long time, as discussed by these two teachers. And that's one of the things that we want to be able to explore here at AI Yogi. Perhaps we can have a conversation about some of these ideas that we encountered and some of the practices that they recommended. And we can discuss what works for you or what does not work for you. Thank you again for joining us here at AI Yogi. Please check out the website, aiyogi.org, where you can experience some of the artificial intelligence modules that we were just discussing for yourself, and perhaps dive deeper into some of the meditation practices, and then we can have a conversation. Thank you again.